Okay, hello everyone. This is TM105, Introduction to Computer Programming. Uh, this is meeting 2. However, the recording for meeting 2 will be split in two parts. So this is the first part of meeting 2. Objectives, again, these are for you to read them and then to come back at the end. Always when you finish the recording or learning the session or reading the slides, always come back to the objectives and check if you understood everything. So these are the objectives of all of meeting 2. Write Java programs to perform simple computation. Now last week or last meeting we saw how to simply provide output. Now we will have simple computation. Learn about variables. To name a class and variables following naming convention. This has already been done, but it is being re-stressed over here. Perform simple operations using the plus minus. We use the star for multiplication and slash for division. Write and evaluate numerical expression and obtain input using scanner. Now the remaining part, the selection control, this will be in the second recording of meeting of this meeting or meeting 2. So let me start by the first few objectives, starting with a variable. You see, a variable is a memory location. Now I will skip the slides. You can come back to the slides and read them, or you can use them as a reference. I will go directly to my NetBeans and show you how I will create a variable. So let me start by a new project. File, new project. As usual, next, finish. No need to give it a special name. Now, for clarity, here let me wait a few seconds for it to open. Yes, for the clarity, I will be removing the comments. You can keep the comments, but for clarity, I will just remove the comments so that you can focus on the main Java code. Here, all the comments are now removed, and this is my main method. This is where I start my coding. Let me start by a simple declaration. By the way, I might get a different program than what is in the slides, and it might be the same. I will give what I will understand from the names. I need two variables to store integers. Integers are numbers that do not have a decimal space. In Java, you always need to declare. So I will put a comment. This is my declaration section. This is where I declare. I always start with the type int followed by the name of the variable. You see, int x. This is valid, but this is not very meaningful. What is x? You see, in algebra, we like variable x. However, in programming, what if I have two numbers? I need two integers, x1, x2. What if I have 20? x1, x2, x3, x4. So you need to give your variables meaningful names. So I will say this is number, semicolon. Now I need two numbers. So I will declare number 1. You see, now number 1 is an integer, semicolon. That's a declaration. And I have number 2, semicolon. I need a program to calculate the sum, int sum, semicolon. So this program will take the value of number 1 and the value of number 2 and add them. Now the next step, you see, what I told Java is that I need a location. This is a variable. I need a location to store an int value, means an integer value. So now I can use this location. This is called the initialization, where I give it the first value, the initial value. Number 1 is equal to 5. You see, now this is similar to mathematics, to variables. I just gave my variable a value. You see, number 1 is equal to 5. Now let me do another one. Number 2 is equal to 6 semicolon. Now, several things you can do. I will be doing them at a later stage. Like over here, you can write these few lines of codes differently. However, I have the first number taking the value 5, the second number taking 6. Be careful, you cannot use, for example, dot 0. Even though it means it is 6, there is a dot. It's not an integer anymore. Alright, you see Java is complaining. There's an underlining in red. So 6, that's it. Now processing. I need to store the total in the variable sum. So I need to modify the memory location, sum equal. You see, variable, I am modifying the value. I need to give it the value of an expression. The expression is, I need to add number 1 to number 2. So this is number 1 plus number 2, and I end with a semicolon. Now I am adding the value of number 1, which is 5, to the value of number 2, which is 6. And by the way, this 5 is called a literal. You will see it in the slides. This 6 is called a literal. Alright, so now I have the sum, which is the addition of these two numbers. So sum now has the value 11. Let's make sure by providing output. So this is over here, providing output. System dot out dot println the sum is, you see, let me put print, not println, and then system dot out now dot println sum. Alright, before I run it, let me just comment on these two output statements. You see, the first one is just a print. The sum is in the space, so the caret will remain afterwards, waiting for additional output. The second one, you see, there are no double quotes. If I click on this sum, you see, NetBeans highlighted the variable. This sum is the same as the sum. It is exactly the same as this one. So it will print the value when you give it a variable without double quotes. You see, this is double quotes. This is a string. So if you put strings over here, it will be SUM. But if you do not put the double quote, it's not a string. It will be the value, which is 11. So let's try. Let me run. The sum is 11. Alright? Now a few modifications. What can we do? First, let me start by declaration and initialization in one step. I do not want the initialization. I will remove these two lines. You can directly declare and give it a value. Let's say 7 and 8. Okay, you see, now I have declaration and initialization. I did not give sum a value. You can, if you want, say equal to 0, because you know that it will be modified, and 0 means logically nothing, and you can keep it in sum. No problem, no issues. Now processing, there's nothing I can do over here. Now before I continue, there's another thing we can do. Let me return everything to how it was. Here, Ctrl Z. Alright. You see, int. I am taking a lot of lines. I can, in Java, just put one int and put afterwards a list. Number 1, not semicolon, comma. Number 2, not semicolon, comma. Sum. Now semicolon. I finished my declaration. Now initialization, if I need to merge them together, you can still have a list and give values. You see, before the comma, this is equal to 7, and number 2, this is equal to 8. So now I have number 1 is an integer with the value 7, number 2 is an integer with the value 8, sum is an integer. You are free to use any method that you like. Now this method reduced the number of lines in my program. Let me go to providing output. I will put this as ln. I will remove this line. I will put over here after the string plus, and I will put sum. Notice that now I have two plus operators. One of them is addition, the other one is concatenation. When you put plus and you have two numbers, whether integers or real numbers, then the plus is the addition operator. When you put the plus and one of them is a string, the plus is the concatenation operator. Now this is the same program with comments, but written as 3 statements. 1, 2, 3. Let me run it. You see the sum is 15. Because my values are now 7 and 8, so 7 plus 8, this will give me the sum 15, so the sum is 15. Now let me go to the slides. Variable. Programs remember numbers and other data in computer's memory, so a variable is a memory location. Variable is a location in the computer's memory. This is the RAM. You must have an identifier, a name, and a type before you can use it, and the type comes before it. So these are examples of integers, no decimals, negative, positive, and 0. They are whole numbers and declared with the int. Now this is the program that I wrote. This is the program with comments, and I show you how I can modify or combine some parts of the program. Now variable declaration, you start by the type followed by the identifier, and then you can assign later on. You can read all of these. By the way, this is the statement where you can list the variables separated by a comma, so make sure to read all the slides. I will skip this part. I will come over here. Now what type of literals? When I have an int, I can store an integer literal. If I have a double, I can store a real number, a double literal. If I have a string, I can store a string literal. Now we will take different types, but be very careful. Int lowercase, double lowercase. The string is a special. It's an uppercase S. Now here are some examples. You can read them. Whether it's a literal or an expression, make sure to study them. And let me go to the plus operator. When the operands are numbers, the plus is addition. You can add a value to a variable, but both should be numbers. You can add values together. You can add variables together. Plus is addition. Now the plus is concatenation. When one of them, one of the operands, is a string, it doesn't matter if it comes before or after. If the first one is a number, the second is a string, or the first is a string, the second is a number. You have examples over here at the bottom. You see sum is the result, or sum is plus sum. So now it is concatenation. It just puts them after each other on the output. Alright. Now identifiers, similar to the name of the class that we took in meeting 1. Identifiers can have letters, digits, underscores, $, must not be a keyword, cannot be true, false, nor are keywords, cannot be a keyword, cannot be int, cannot be for, cannot be class, cannot be public, can include the underscore $, in any location, a letter in any location, but a digit, not the first location, so it cannot start with a digit. Naming conventions. We usually use lowercase. Take a look at my program. You see sum, lowercase, number 1, lowercase followed by a digit, number 2, lowercase followed by a digit. In case the variable was more than 1, and you see class name we usually capitalize. In case the variable was more than one word, like compute area, lowercase c, uppercase A. If it is more than one word, you start with lowercase, and then every new word should be uppercase. Numeric operators. We have seen the plus. Well, easy to do the minus. Multiplication is a star. Division is a slash. We will take division in more details at a later time and different types of divisions. And remainder in another session, not this session. Alright, so the remainder operator is one of the most common ones. We will be using it, but at a later stage. How to evaluate an expression, the order of precedence. You see there are examples at the bottom. Definitely parentheses gets calculated first, and then in this example 2 plus 3 times 4, it's not 6 times 4. You see not 5 times 4, sorry, 5 times 4 is 20. This is 2 plus 12, because you always do the multiplication, division and modulo or remainder first, then the addition, subtraction, and finally the assignment. Now over here it is 20 because we have the parentheses. We will take examples. This is an example, and let me trace this slide. Alright, I will open Notepad. Let me copy it. 3 plus 4 times start 4 plus 5 times 4 plus 3 minus 1. And you need to know, in case you were asked on the midterm or final, to show your work. You need to show your work, not necessarily how it is written in the slides, but how I will be doing it now. So first I have plus times plus times plus and minus, but I need to evaluate what's inside the parentheses. So I will copy everything outside. Here it is. And now I need to start what's inside the parentheses. I have only one operator inside the parentheses. Otherwise, I should have gone into the precedence as well. Now this operator is 4 plus 3. So this result is 7. Alright, you can remove the parentheses now. You see, this is the first step. Now, I will copy it. The next step, I have plus times minus. I always go from left to right. I know that I have multiplication, so that's it. This is the one that I will be doing. So I will be calculating 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Now, I need to do another operator. Plus times minus. I have times. I do this first. 5 times 7 is 35. Now I have plus and minus, so that's it. They are all the same level. I start left to right. 3 plus 16, this is 19. Now 19 plus 35, this is 54. And finally 54 minus 1, so this is 53. So the final answer is 53. Let me go back to the slides. You see, this is explaining what we did at each step and the final answer. Now, arithmetic expressions. This expression is probably a little bit difficult to do it in one step. It takes time for you to be able to understand it. But first take a look at it mathematically. You see, I have the fraction 3 plus 4x over 5. I am subtracting from it the following fraction. I am adding to it the following. So now I have the first one, I use the parentheses, minus the second one, plus the last one. This is one way of doing it. Now go to the first parentheses. The first one, I have a division of 3 plus 4x. So I need to calculate 3 plus 4x divided by 5. So I will put over here 3 plus 4 times x. Now if I take the order, the preference, 4 times x will be done first, then inside the parentheses it will be divided by 5. You can continue this exercise and try to see if you reach the same result. Now I added more parentheses, it is fine. You can add them, you can keep them, it doesn't matter. Adding them would make it easier for you to see it. So try to do the following, but do not spend a lot of time on it. It's not that essential. This is too long. Alright, a Java program to calculate the age of a person. Let me go to my NetBeans. Let me close this project, close the run. I will start a new project. So new project, next, finish. I need to write a program. Let me remove these comments for making it clear. I need to write a program to be able to take input from the user, ask the user to give data, and then calculate something based on the input of the user. Whenever you have a program that will take input from the user, you need to prepare your program for input. There are two statements that we need to add. The first one is before public class. Import. I need something to help me in taking input. So I need to get a special Java tool to help me do that. So I need to import import space. You see it's in blue. It's one of the keywords. Import Java dot lowercase util, which stands for utility, dot lowercase as well. Now scanner is uppercase, SCANNER semicolon. You see, I am importing, I am getting what this scanner is, adding it to my program. I am informing Java that I will be using this scanner. Now the program is not ready for input. The first line in the main method will be declaration scanner input semicolon. Well, we learned previously that I can declare and I can assign directly immediately after the declaration. So instead of doing the declaration by itself, scanner input is equal. Now this you have to memorize. New scanner, of course uppercase, of system S uppercase, dot in is lowercase, and you end with a semicolon. You see, this line will not make any sense at this stage, but later on when you take the object-oriented Java course, this line would be, oh, this is very easy, very simple, self-explanatory. Alright, so at this stage just memorize these two lines. Line number 3 in my program, the import statement, and line number 6, how to declare a scanner. By the way, you can modify this to keyboard, for example. You can write any name you want. This is a variable, any meaningful name. We will be adopting the term input because we will be taking user input. Alright, now I need my program to ask the user for two different types of input. I need the user's name and the year of birth, what year the user was born on. A name is a string. The string takes an uppercase S, so string name. This is my first variable. And the year of birth, it's an integer, so int year of birth. Name it. Notice the naming convention. String name, int year of birth, O and B uppercase. Alright, now how do I take input? I will write something that I will be updating at a later stage. Let me show you why. Assume I need to take the year of birth as input. To take input, you put the variable year of birth and you assign to it. You put equal. You see, I am storing the value that the user will give me in memory. I will use the scanner, which is called input. So this is input dot. And year of birth is of type int. So it's next int. You open and you close parentheses. You see, year of birth is equal. Input means use the scanner to take input. And use the method next int. Take an integer as input. Now, let me show you the problem with this statement. I will run. Okay, now the program is running. Let's wait a few seconds. Okay, nothing is happening. Why? You see, the program is expecting something from the user. I told the program, take input. You see, I do not have the build successful. You can see this small square, it's red, means the program is running. You can see at the bottom, it tells you that this program is running. Alright, now let me do an error. As a user, I cannot tell what the program needs. So let me write over here, hello, and press enter. You see, I have a huge problem. Build failed. You can read it at the bottom in red. So my program did not run properly. Let me show you why. Let me run it again and give, for example, 2010, enter, build successful. Alright. So let's fix this program. Let me remove this line. I will put it later on. Now notice what I will write. System.out.print, not println, enter your name. You see, I used the print so that the input would be directly after. This would make the output much nicer. Now, before taking the name of the user, I need to inform the user. This is a prompt. Here, let me put it as a comment. This is a prompt. You provide an output so that the user knows, because it's not always that the user is the person writing the program. Now I need to read the name. So name is equal. I use the scanner. This is input, the variable for scanner. I can use next, or I can use next line. I will come to them in the slides. You see, next is going to read one word only. One word only. If you use next line, it will read a whole line. The line can be one word only. So let's keep it as next line. Now, system.out.print, enter your year of birth. This is a prompt. Year of birth is equal to input dot next int. Now I took user input. You see these 4 lines? These are to take 2 values from the user. Now I'll put over here, assume the year is 2025. Now this could be taken as user input from the user, but assume this program was written in 2025. So I need to calculate the age of the person, and I need to provide it as output. Now so many times you get stuck over here. Should I declare a variable age, or should I simply just provide the calculation in the output? Now there are several times when you might be confused what to do. I will do it in different ways. Sometimes you decide to declare a variable. No need to go back. Declare right away. Int age is equal to 2025 minus year of birth. This is valid. You see, now I have a variable called age, which has the age of the user provided as output. System.out.println your age is, and concatenate it with age, and that's it. Let me run my program. Enter your name, enter year of birth. Your age is 15. Alright, so based on my code, it's running properly. Now let me modify these 2 lines. Assume I do not need a variable. System.out.println you are. I need to concatenate it with a value. Be careful, you cannot put minus over here without the parentheses. So 2025 minus year of birth, and let me concatenate it with years. Alright, you are, and this will do the calculation. 2025 minus the year of birth, you are 15 years. Let me put alt. Alright, let me reduce the size a little bit. Okay, this is more than enough. This is good. I cannot do any more. Okay, this is good. This is good enough. So let me run it. Enter your name, 2010. You are 15 years old. Notice how I wrote this 15. I use a concatenation. I made calculation. I use another concatenation. So you see, the strings were just added, and there's an expression calculating the value of 15. So you can do it either with a variable or like this. Now let me go to the slides. Enter your first name. You see, this is a prompt asking only for the name. There's the scanner. By the way, there's the declaration for age. There's the year. I calculated the age. Now over here it's assuming the year is 2023. Hello, someone, whoever the user is, you are, and this is age, years old, and this is sample for the output. Now there's a bulb over here, an idea. It tells you, why don't you read the current year from the user as input as well? So you can try to modify this and read the current year from the user as well. Alright, a few slides quickly. You need to read these slides. You see the import declaration. So this is important to be before the class. And then there's the scanner input equal new scanner of system.in. This should be declared before using the variable input. Reading numbers, you provide a prompt, then you use the input or the scanner, and what type of methods exist inside scanner. You have the next int to read an integer, the next double, uppercase D to read a double, next reads one word, and next line reads a whole line of words until you reach the end, the new line, the enter. Now another example: write a program that reads the radius of a circle as a real number, then calculate and print its diameter. I will do this program quickly. You see, I need to read the radius, and I know that the diameter is twice the radius. However, when I finish this program, I will provide the output in a way where I might need to do some, whenever I have real numbers, to do some formatting for the output, and I will show you why I need the formatting. So before doing this output, I will explain this program. I will explain the printf, and then I will come back to this program. So let me go over here, close everything, and start a new. So this is new project. Next, finish. Again, let me remove all of these. Alright, now I will zoom in. Okay, I will just explain the printf, and then I will come back to my program in just a second. Let me assume that I have two double values. Double, for example, num1 is equal to 10.0. Let me put 1.0. Double num2 is equal to 3.0. Let me put 10. This would be more meaningful, by the way. 1.0, it would be simple. 10 would give me a special value. Now, even though they are 10 and 3, do not do this program using int, because we will be using division, and division with integers have special meaning different than division with double values. So make sure if you are trying this program, do not use int for num1, num2. Double result is equal to num1 divided num2. You see, I am dividing both values. System dot out dot print ln. Now I will print just the result, because I am just doing this program to test. You see, I am using println to see the result. Let me run. You see the output. Do I need all of these decimal places? Furthermore, is this correct? I mean, I know it's a repeating value. It should be 3.3333. It's never ending. It gave me a 5. So this is a main problem. Now, println is going to fail when you have so many decimal places. So a better way is to use printf, not println. You need to write a formatted string. The formatted string always starts with a string. So result is equal. I need to put the result over here. With printf, you are not allowed to do plus. You see, this is wrong. Not allowed to do this. Do not do it. You need to say, I need a floating point value, and this floating point value, you put it after a comma. Now this means that the result is the value that %f is going to display it. So with formatted string, with printf, you put these directives over here. %f means I need the value, and this is the value, result. Now let me do it, let me run this, modify it, and then I will update everything. Let me run. Result is equal You see, this is a value. This is replacing %f. Now problem is that you do not have printf ln. You need to add a new line. You can do it with either %n. Take a look now what happened. Or you can do it with the \n. \n works with any print, not only the printf. It is the new line character. So %f, then there's a \n, go to a new line. Alright, now let's modify a little bit. Let me remove result. Take a look at my formatted string. I have a number %f. I am dividing it by another number %f, and I am getting the result %f. So I need to provide now three values. The first %f is num1. The second %f is num2, and the third %f is the result. You see, this is a formatted string. Num1 to the first %f, num2 to the second %f, and result to the third %f. Now let me run it. Notice what happened. I have 10.0. It is being written as 10 dot so many zeros, 3 dot so many zeros, and the result has so many decimal places. There is a workaround. I only need one decimal place for num1. So between the % and the f, you put .1. This means it's only one decimal place. I will reduce the size a little bit, the font. For num2, .1. And for the result, let me have two decimal places, .2. You see, %.1f, %.1f, %.2f. Let me run it. So 10.0 over 3.0 is a 3.33. We do not need more than two decimal places. You see, this accuracy of the double, you do not really need it. So this is how we do format strings. Alright, now let me do the exercise of the circle, and then I will go to the slides and I will wrap up this tutorial. So let me erase everything written over here. Keep the structure of the program. Let me remove the output. I need to use input, so this is import java.util.scanner. I need to declare my scanner. Scanner input is equal to new scanner of system.in. I need to read radius and calculate it a diameter, both double. So let me declare them. Double radius, diameter. In the slides they are written R&D, so this is better over here. Give them meaningful names. Now, to take input from the user, always provide a prompt, system.out.print, enter the radius. Read it. Radius is equal. The scanner was declared as input. Dot. You use the next double because the type of radius, it is declared as a double. Now do the calculation. Diameter is equal to radius times 2. Provide output system.out.printf. It is good to use printf when you have real numbers. So diameter is equal to %.2f \n, and remove this args. This is called diameter. End it with a semicolon. This is it. Let me run my program. This is F6. Enter the radius. Let's assume the radius is 5.42 or 4278. So this is the diameter. It is rounded to two decimal places. Now in case you need more accuracy, you modify this number. Let me go to the slides. This is the example for the radius diameter using printf. Now the terms R and D are a little bit confusing, so anyway, read it. Printf, and the format is string followed by commas, by arguments separated by commas. The argument could be a string, you use the %s. The argument could be an integer, you use the %d. The argument could be a double %f. If you need rounding, you need to use a dot and give it a number. Boolean will be discussed later, and %n or \n to go to a new line. Alright, this is it for this video. I will be completing meeting 2 in the next video. So the next slides will be continued in another video recording. Thank you for watching this video.